and the woman took her shirt off and had her breasts exposed to her. That is literal sexual harassment. Separate crews, and every single one of them, at least one of the series, there is something going on, whether it's violence against women, whether it's sexual misconduct, whether it's inappropriate behaviour. There is always something going on. I'm not being funny, but you have cameras fucking everywhere. Very rape apologist kind of behaviour, I guess. So today I want to talk about Below Deck. It's actually a series I've been meaning to talk about for a while because of some of the sexual misconduct, sexual harassment, sexual assault that has happened over the course of all of the series, whether it be the guests or the people that actually work on these boats. So considering what has happened in the most recent episode of Below Deck Down Under, I wanted to cover this topic in detail. So let's get into this. So if you don't know, Below Deck follows the crew who work on a, like, God knows how many $1 million yacht.
When serving the wealthy and demanding,
I want it ice cold.
Never say no.
Somebody remove this part of the ship for me.
High drama on the high seas.
It's about all the dramas that go along with having charter guests, basically, because some charter guests are really understanding, other charter guests are incredibly entitled or unrealistic with their expectations. There's this huge boat, and there's 3 stewardess and 4 deck crew, and obviously they've got to sleep at some point as well and take breaks, and yet they expect million-star service while they're basically understaffed.
Hey, cool.
Julia, this charter is going to kill us.
Hello.
What can I do for you?
I hate the food. It looks like slop.
And then just kind of ramp it up. I want something that I'm like, ooh, ah.
It looks like slop.
And some of the people on their preference sheet requested no starchy food.
I don't eat starch.
Ladies, you want something that you can whip up in a nice presentation.
I wouldn't mind another little piece of fish.
Grilled cheese with truffles would be fine.
Not a problem.
I just wanted to have a chat about what transpired last evening.
Phil, can't wait for tonight.
I'm excited too.
We still don't know if you can pull it off, but go for it. Francesca, I gave her the list of the different countries that we're dressing as.
You want all different countries?
Yeah, like the more you can represent, the better. You'll figure it out.
These guests, they're crazy.
Telling Heather to go was totally improper. I don't talk to my crew that way. And I will not tolerate anyone else doing it.
Wish I had context as to why or how that happened, and
I don't want the excuses. If that behavior happens again, your charter will be over.
Yes, sir.
When this season actually started, it was said that there should be really minimum 4 stewardesses to cover the whole boat and to make sure people are allowed to take breaks while also still giving the correct star service. I don't know if the production did that to ensure that there'd always be some sort of drama going on. Also, it's kind of apparently well known that within these kind of very tight-knit crews, there's always some sort of love triangle, or at the very least some sort of relationships always going on, whether it be between chefs and deck crew, or between deck crew and stewardesses, or whatever. There's always some sort of love interest or intrigue going on, which of course people love for the views.
What the just happened?
Joe, I was hooking up with Brooke.
He's been pining for me all night.
Can I give you my jersey?
No, treating me like I'm his princess.
What are you going to do after that?
I'll probably go back home.
Zimbabwe.
I feel like an idiot for having the slightest bit of faith in him.
He's my boss. Oh my God. You've been a bad boy, haven't you, Wade?
I've been very conflicted.
Obviously,
But over the years of this series, and I only started watching this last year, I binged a bunch of them while they were on Prime, and I've only seen so many of the series because it's only really available, the full series is only really available on Hey. It's hard to kind of see later seasons unless you pay. So I've only seen what's on Prime, and I've seen a few extras here and there from like bits and pieces on YouTube and stuff like that. There has been some, from the series I've seen, there's probably way more, so I apologise if I'm missing a bunch. But these are just a few of the misconduct that episodes that I want to talk about. So the first one is about Kat. So Kat was a second stewardess on Below Deck. I think it was pretty sure it was the first season. There was a group that came on to boat, and one of them was a plastic surgeon, hence being able to afford such a luxurious, which by the way, all of these charter guests act as if they've paid so much money. They get a discount for going on these charter shows, having their experience recorded. They get a discount. Them acting incredibly entitled throughout the whole of these seasons. Like I said, there are some really lovely guests who are really understanding, really sweet, and similar to in customer service. When guests are understanding and kind to you, you will do everything you physically can to help them. When guests or customers or whatever act in an unnecessary way, when they're condescending or rude or belligerent, you want to do less and less and less for them. And you will do less and less and less for them, and you'll make it more and more difficult for them because you don't want to work for someone or with someone like that. So anyway, Kat was serving these people their food, and I can't find this clip on YouTube. He treats her like an object and says that because Kat has had her boobs done, says that, oh, I can shine a light to show, like on her boob, to show where the implant was. Like literally treating her as if she wasn't a human being or a person, and saying like, oh, basically show us your tits and I can show the work of another plastic surgeon. It was so incredibly weird, creepy, and just inappropriate. At the very least, it's never something that's okay to do, obviously. Speaking of, another clip that I want to talk about is where a guest actually throws money at one of the stewardesses.
Yo, let's go up top. There's no music up there. Yeah, they can put the music. Can we get this music upstairs?
They need a blanket.
They got blankets, right? You want to cast azul? 3 minutes. Chris, you want to cast azul? This is all falling on you. I feel terrible for you.
That's okay. I don't mind. Just my
I
pleasure.
know, but you're gonna be a million places at once. It's not enough.
No. Honestly, I can't accept. And take that €100 note and shove it so far up his hole.
Again, acts as if like, well, money fixes everything. I'm gonna do what the fuck I want. Too fucking bad. There are certain guests that are incredibly belligerent, rude, and actually outright dangerous. There was a guest as well who was drunk, was told you can't go night swimming because it's dangerous. You know, sharks, jellyfish, if you get pulled out by the current, it is pitch fucking black in the middle of the sea. It is going to be incredibly hard to find you. There's a reason why you don't do stuff like that. And she jumped into the sea.
Red wine, baby.
No.
Those are sharks, Dolores. You don't like sharks.
Oh my God!
Son of a bitch.
Captain Lee.
Dolores jumping in the water is the ultimate you to the captain.
Her charter ended that very next morning because she didn't do what the captain told her to do, because at the end of the day, it is his responsibility to make sure that the lives that are on his vessel get back to the fucking port again. There has been at least 2 clips I could find of women treating the deck crew as if they are, again, objects, as if they are sexualized objects. There was one where a male crew member was told that he was to feed these women strawberries.
Oh. Like, get it, Emil. You're really getting into this. I like it. Okay, wait.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Oh, my.
Y'all want a group shot with him? You want to get over there and I'll take y'all's picture?
Which he already, before he even agreed to do it, said that he was uncomfortable with, but because they wanted a big fucking tip, he did it. Other ones have been asked to put on Speedos that they weren't fucking comfortable with.
Oh God, Kate, it's very small.
Oh, my goodness. Josiah, how come you didn't wear just that?
Holy shit. Don't do that. Don't do that to me.
I'm done.
Are you kidding me right now?
They are in a huge argument right now. It sounds like they're fighting over James. It's ridiculous. He's a deckhand, not a man toy.
Again, so that they could be seen as sexualized objects. There was women actually sexually harassing one of the deck crew.
This jaw?
What is jaw?
Excuse me.
What if I, like, unbutton that?
Oh, yeah, I was...
Hey, you sure you're gonna help me?
You keep your clothes on. So, like, the knot out of your hair.
Hi. I got a favor to ask.
Yeah.
Don't molest my crew member. No, he really needs to pay attention to the law. All right, thank you.
Thanks for saving me.
But one of the worst ones I've seen of guests treating crew as if they are sexualized objects that they own was a stewardess went in to help clean the room, or went into the room because the guest asked, and the guest literally locked them in the room with this man and this woman, which were both the guests, and the woman took her shirt off and had her breasts exposed to her.
Ew. You are not allowed to leave. She's hot.
Let's just take it off.
Don't take it off. And all of a sudden, there's titties in my face. No, stop.
I'm giving you what you want. Lots of sexiness.
No. And the titties are not titties that I'm used to seeing. Not that I'm used to seeing titties.
Give me a hug. Give me a hug.
Do you want a shirt? They're old titties? Well, you have options. I'm gonna go take a shower.
Like bars,
going down those
bars.
stairs. Charter. Sorry. I'm a little bit traumatized. I just need to breathe for a second.
That is literal sexual harassment. It might even be sexual assault. But to lock someone in a fucking room and expose them to your body that they are not fucking comfortable with, they did not consent to, pretty sure that's sexual assault. At the very least, like I say, it's sexual harassment. Like I say, this is one of the first seasons where this happened and nothing was done. I don't understand how anyone thinks that behaviour is acceptable at all. You're not getting consent from someone, flat out not okay. Another one was where the guests were getting it in a hot tub and a member of the deck crew inserted themselves into the situation, which clearly was inappropriate.
I will sex you up.
I love you so much. I love babies. I want you so much. Like, what happens in Greece stays in Greece.
Hey guys, I am out. Enjoy your night, guys. Thank you guys. Thank you for being so great.
Danny just went through this on the last charter. Danny has been taking photos of charter guests, and this last charter he has been showing other charter guests photos of the girls from our previous charters.
Showing the clients.
Discretion is number one in this industry.
So I come up with a sweet idea. It's a little rhyme that I just created, and I'm going to hand it to her.
That is absolutely not appropriate.
If I was to give that to her in front of everyone. No.
That's inappropriate.
Like, he didn't understand boundaries, and this wasn't the first time that staff member did not understand boundaries throughout his whole entire season. When I originally saw that clip, I thought Hannah was being kind of hard on him because maybe he was just a bit unaware. But actually seeing his whole season, I realised that this guy had been inappropriate with so many guests. He's given his phone number to guests. He consistently was acting like the guests were his best mates, and they were just there to have a good time with him, when actually he was there to serve them as a deckhand. He was very inappropriate and did not understand the boundary line of guest versus staff. So I now want to go on to the actual staff members. So one of the crew members, who was actually, I think he was the bosun at the time, very passive aggressive to the female members of staff, not just in his team on the deck crew, but with the stewardesses as well, to the point where it was 12 o'clock at night and he'd asked them to clean something, they're cleaning it, and he stands over them in a very aggressive manner and is consistently nitpicking.
Has asked me, the first mate, to make sure this gets done. We need to sweep this up.
Okay. Do you want to?
No, you're gonna do it.
Oh, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are you just going to stand and supervise and watch, or?
No, just relax, okay? I don't really appreciate the passive aggressive.
And considering it's a very enclosed space as well, Hannah stands up for the team member.
Hey, mister. You are going way too far.
Hey, relax, okay? I'm telling her what's going on.
Okay, well, you don't tell her what's going on.
It's okay.
If you have a problem with her, you come to me. You don't speak to her like that.
I'm not speaking rude. I'm just being assertive in what we need to do.
Okay, well, you know what?
Okay, you're doing good. You're doing fine.
No, it's 12:15. We're having a chilled night. Don't
You
talk to her.
you need to chill.
You don't-
Okay, you need to get out of my face right now.
You
okay?
don't back off. You just
Seriously.
don't talk to her like that.
It's cool, okay? It's
Okay,
cool.
so just hear it.
All right, I just want to make sure it gets done.
What do we need? It's going. Is it not happening?
How long have you guys been yachting?
Oh, off, Brian. This is the first time he's getting aggressive with me, and it's good. It's opened my eyes.
When at the end of the season, when all of the charter guests have come and gone, and it's right at the end, they want to provide him some feedback of how he could be a better bosun or a better team member, because he clearly doesn't treat women the same way that he treated men. And he did not take a single piece of that feedback to heart. He washed it off as if to say, like, well, who are they to give me feedback? And did not even consider that the way that they saw his aggressive, at the very least passive aggressive, consistent behaviour was not a nice environment for them to work in, and it's something he definitely needed to work on. So I hope after maybe he saw his season, because he never came back, and he did see maybe what they were saying and hopefully became better. It's impossible to say, because he is not the only staff member that has treated women in a very toxic sort of way.
Let me get in trouble. Danny got away with murder, and you guys stuck up for him until the last second. So you and you and you.
Are you f***ing kidding me?
Dude, really? What are you gonna do, Jen?
Are you f***ing kidding me? Yeah, I'll save it for this. You think I f***ing care?
You say, oh, Bobby's not worth it. You did it with Lauren when we were in New York, and you're doing it right now.
About what?
Don't play dumb. You're not even gonna remember it in the morning because you're an alcoholic. Get out of my way.
I've got better things to talk about than a little freaking steroid-infused blow-up doll. So our preference sheet told us in advance before they arrived.
Told me about what? Don't try to make out that something was on the preference sheet when it wasn't, because it wasn't. Do you want to cook? Would you like to cook? Are you any good at cooking?
I told you...
Then don't come out with that bullshit to me, yeah? Please, don't. Don't insult me. I'll try my best. I'll try my best.
Thank you.
But don't hold your breath on that one, yeah?
I probably won't.
How good do you think you are? And you're not that good, girlfriend. Trust me. You're far from it. And if you believe you think you are, well, I don't know what you're looking at Captain for. I'm talking to you, I'm not talking to the Captain.
Which, the worst one I've seen before the most recent issue of sexual misconduct happened, there was I think he was the bosun, or he was like the lead deckhand. Actually, there's two bits to this. Firstly, there was a bunch of guys, I think, within the car, and Kate, who was the chief stewardess at the time, a guy came over and kissed her without her consent.
Riding back in a van, and Ashton stuck his tongue down my throat a second time, and he was also rude to me.
Second time?
There were a few times.
Like, literally forced himself on her. There was another, I think, within the same series, that I've only seen these clips on YouTube. There was an episode again within the car where one of the lead bosun was hitting the car and being incredibly aggressive and violent because Kate had said something he didn't like, and the way he reacted was incredibly toxic.
If you think you're such a better person for calling my mother out.
Oi, calm down, bro, calm down. Jesus Christ!
And I wouldn't feel comfortable being in a car with him. And then the last one from that season that I am aware of, at least, is where there was like a beach day. The guys, one of them kicked sand into Kate's face, and it was caught on camera. And when they were told about that, because that's literal assault, when they were told about that was caught on camera, they just laughed about it.
Don't ever do that, bro. What's wrong with you?
Did you kick sand in Kate's eye on purpose?
I don't know, did we get that on camera? Okay, yeah, well then I did.
They were awful. I don't care how bad someone is to you. The second you start assaulting someone, and the fact that you can laugh about it, is disgusting. And this is not just on just below deck. There is below deck, there's below deck sailing, there's below deck down under, there's below deck Mediterranean. That's at least 4 separate crews, and every single one of them, at least one of the series, there is something going on, whether it's violence against women, whether it's sexual misconduct, whether it's inappropriate behaviour. There is always something going on. I'm not being funny, but you have cameras fucking everywhere. That they do this when they know there's cameras around is scary. And this is what people have to deal with when they know there's cameras around. What the fuck happens when they know there isn't? Which is exactly what happened in a recent episode of Below Deck Down Under. Again, I haven't seen the whole episode, obviously, I've only seen the clips. So they go out on their evening. One of the guys is into one of the girls. The girl says, doesn't want to do anything, she's too drunk, goes to her room and passes out on her bed. This guy did not understand boundaries. He went into her bedroom, fucking stark bollock naked, and went onto her bed on top of her. The production guys had to tell him to get out. He shut the door and locked it.
That night, a naked Luke entered Margot's bed while she was sleeping.
Producers promptly called his name and tried to get him out of the room. He slammed the door on them, but ultimately was let out.
No, open it. Stop.
We can't, bro.
We
can't do that.
We can't do it.
We can't do that.
She's sitting there.
This is after, apparently, I didn't even know this. People have said that when he went into her room naked, that was just after, apparently, there was an electrical blackout or whatever. And people think that he turned off all the electrics so that the cameras in her room would not work. The amount of production that were on that boat, he still went out of his way to do that. That's what people have to deal with. They banged on the door, he opened it, he came out, and he didn't go back in again. But when the captain was told about it, because Chief Stewardess Aisha went in, told Captain about it, he told him to go into a hotel so that all staff members were safe for the night, which he dealt with this situation perfectly. This is exactly how the fuck you should deal with situations like this. He got him out of the whole entire boat so that they felt safe. When he came back, he was told to collect his belongings and leave, and he wasn't allowed to speak to a single other member of staff. By the way, when he was told what had happened, because apparently he didn't remember, I don't believe that, but whatever. He apparently said he didn't remember what the fuck happened. When he was told that he went into her room naked and that was inappropriate behaviour, he said he understood as to why he had to go, because the captain said that behaviour cannot be tolerated. Like, didn't try to talk himself out of it. He literally just went to his room, got his stuff, left. However, there was another member of staff. The whole team were told as to what happened the previous night, that something inappropriate happened, that sort of behaviour will not be tolerated, and this member of staff was fired. The captain was coming up. She was already being inappropriate with a member of the team that had made it very clear that he was not interested in her. And there is, again, video of her not understanding boundaries, at the very least not caring about boundaries, where he said, please get off of me. And he said no and had to be told to get the fuck out by somebody else because she wouldn't know as an answer from him. No surprise, really. She was sad to have seen that member of staff go because she was consistently just making excuses for him, saying that, oh, he probably just thought it was a joke. We're all just very jokey, very sexual sort of people. Like, I wish you would come into my bed. I wouldn't have said no sort of thing. Very rape apologist kind of behaviour. Aisha heard about this from the person who was the victim of him. And Aisha, again, went back to the captain, told him of the inappropriate things she'd said, told the captain about the inappropriate behaviour that had already happened earlier in the season, and again she was fired. The way that situation was dealt with was perfect. That's exactly how you deal with situations like that. That sort of inappropriate behaviour, that's what should have happened in all these other seasons. In all these other series where there's been aggression, inappropriate behaviour, misconduct, sexual assault, sexual harassment. When all of this has fucking happened, this is what should have happened. It makes me angry that we are in 2023 and there are still people who make excuses for this kind of fucking behaviour. It's not okay, it's not right, and it shouldn't fucking happen. It's a shame because there are bits of the season that I really like. I like seeing all the different places that people go. I like seeing the, adventures and environments that they go to. But this sort of stuff really does bring down all the series. They've let people get away with it for a really fucking long time. But like I say, I'm glad that they've dealt with this one in a very, very good way. I'm just sad that none of the other situations were dealt with in a similar way. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe if you feel like it. I really appreciate it. If there's any topics you want me to cover, please let me know in a comment below. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye!